Hey guys, it's Jeff here to talk about Brooklyn's Finest from director Antoine Fuqua and first time writer, I want to say his name is, I want to get it wrong, first time screenwriter Michael Martin. Um, this is probably one of the one of the most underrated movies of the year besides Shutter Island. Um, I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes right now. Brooklyn's Finest has a 43% rotten rating from critics. Um, it was barely released in theaters. I mean, I don't really remember it being in theaters. Got no hype. Um, I don't know anybody that's seen it. Like I said, bad reviews pretty much across the board, which is a shame because I liked it. um, it's a cop melodrama by the director Antoine Fuqua. He did like his first big movie was Training Day, which everyone loves. Training Day. It's a great cop movie. This is basically like his opus. You know, it's him returning to the cop genre, but really just putting this melodramatic spin on it. Like to me, the movie reminded me a lot of Magnolia, both in its Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia, both in its structure and its mood. Um, you know, like Magnolia, it's three. It's a couple different stories, and this one is three different stories that barely touch on each other, but their moods complement each other. And like Magnolia, it's brooding and melodramatic, and even right down to like the orchestral score that seems to play through the whole thing. That reminded me of Magnolia. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same composer as Magnolia. Um, so yeah, that's it. Except frogs aren't flying out of the sky at the end. Spoilers. So I think if you like cop movies and you like movies like Magnolia or God, there's a bunch of them like this, like Crash, where it's you have a couple different narratives running through the movie that are marginally interwoven with each other, and here it is really marginally. One does play on the other a little bit. They tie them together a little bit, and strangely, all three paths converge at the same point at the end, at the same building and the housing projects. Um, I mean, I'm a little confused why the consensus I can't talk consensus on Rotten Tomatoes is appropriately gritty and soaked in the kind of palpable tension Fuqua delivers so well. But Brooklyn's Finest suffers from the comparisons its cliched script provokes. Yeah, maybe it is a little cliched. Here's let's just talk about the plot. Fuck what people have to say about it. I'll tell you what I have to say about it. Um, Three plots. There's Richard Gere. He's a detective that's about to retire, or he's just a cop. He's not a detective. He's just a cop that's about to retire. He's got 7 days left, and he's burnt out. He shouldn't be on the job anymore, and he knows it. He wants out. You have Don Cheadle as an undercover cop who's in deep with these drug guys. He's trying to make a case against them, but he wants out of that. He wants he wants his life back. He wants to get out of there before he gets killed, or actually what he's really worried about is becoming too sympathetic with the other side. And the last story is Ethan Hawke, kind of the least interesting story, but it's still got some meat on it. um, Ethan Hawke as like this cash strapped dad who's a cop who he can't pay his bills. He's got kids. He's got twins on the way. His wife is sick, and the shitty apartment they're in is making her asthma worse. And he's trying to, he wants to get a house, but the bank won't give him a loan. I think that's how it is, and he has to come up with a down payment, and he's been working this job, busting his ass. He doesn't have the money to show for it. He's going and busting these drug dealers. He's seeing piles of cash on the table. So he plays this guy that's gone completely corrupt, trying to get fucking drug money so he can put a down payment on a house for his family. That's your three stories. It is, thematically, they're all kind of linked in that they're all desperate men. Richard Gere's desperate to quit. Don Cheadle is desperate to get out of his, current assignment. And Ethan Hawke is desperate for money. And I kind of liked all three of the stories. It's kind of tough to say which one they want you to identify with the most. But I think if you're going to pick, like, any sort of hero out of this movie, or I guess the strongest character, I liked Richard Gere. And I think Richard Gere delivers a great performance. That's one thing I really noticed about this movie throughout is that Antoine Fuqua, remember the performance he got Ethan Hawke and Denzel Washington in Training Day? He does that once again here. He gets everyone to deliver. I don't know if he scares the shit out of them because he's a big dude, but he gets people to act. Richard Gere's excellent. Ethan Hawke is, he's doing something different than he did in Training Day. He's a lot harder of a character, not some vulnerable guy. He'll fuck you up. And Don Cheadle gives a really intense performance too. He gets good performances out of everybody, man. He even gets a good performance out of this girl. I think, if I remember her name right, it's Shannon Kane. The girl that plays the hooker in this movie, which is like a bit role. He gets a good performance out of her. And backing up all these great people, you have like a bunch of guys from like The Wire and stuff. I mean, well cast, well acted. The critics could say what they want about the rest of the movie, that it's cliched and it's melodramatic and we've seen it all before, but you can't take away from, and that the script is weak or whatever, but you can't take away that he delivers a very strong atmosphere and mood in this movie with some fine acting. If you're into cop movies, and you're into these like big, grand melodramas with the moody atmosphere and the score playing throughout it and cutting in between three depressing stories, you're gonna like it. I really think this is a movie that's gonna find its audience. I think as recently as like a week ago, it was like pretty poorly rated on Netflix. It has an average rating of like 3.5 stars now. IMDb, it has a 7.1 out of 10 rating from users. I think as more people discover this on DVD and Blu-ray and whatnot, they're going to agree more with me than they did the critics. I think this is one that it'll find its audience. The only, some bad things is, yeah, it is kind of it's cliched script. And, yeah, we've seen this before. And it's a little slow. The plot isn't quite as strong as you'd expect. I guess it doesn't pay off as well as it builds up, maybe. But it's really about the ride more than the final destination, right? That's what I say, anyways. I care more about a good ride than the ending. And I like the ending here. I like the where it goes. I'm really like, I know I'm gonna have to end up defending this movie for a while, unless people get on board with me on it. But definitely give it a shot. Go, put that on your queue. Check out Brooklyn's Finest. I want to bump up my score a little bit. I'm gonna say it's 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it.